Hey everyone, I'm Ed Gutowski. I'm going to be your English 1B instructor, and what I wanted to do was to create a video where I just kind of introduce myself, talked a little bit about the expectations for class, and talk about the textbooks. You have to know you are in for a treat. English 1B is loads of fun, right? The books that I've selected, I've used both in an on-ground and an online class with a lot of success. Students love the textbooks, and our class is going to be lots of fun. So let's just talk briefly about what English 1B is. English 1B is an introduction to literature. So we're going to look at basically a variety of things. We're going to look at literature, some short stories, some poetry. In fact, the first week of class I tried to make fairly easy. You're going to basically look at some poems that are going to be the foundation of our class. We'll also look at some drama, so we're going to look at some Shakespeare, but super fun, super jazzed, and excited about class. And before I get into the textbooks for class, I want to talk just really quickly that in order for me to deal with ads, you need to send me a welcome email. I've got a cat coming in, so I'm going to bring my cat in. Say hello, cat, and say goodbye. There goes my cat. I got a cat and two dogs. So anyways, in order for me to make room for ads, I am going to, you need to send me a welcome email by January 26th, which is the Wednesday of the first week of class, because then I'll know you're in class. And then if you're not, I can just kind of make room for some ads. And I want you to just send me an introduction email. Let me know who you are, why you're taking this class, maybe something about your major, but make it fun. Let's make this engaging because even though we're online classes need to be fun. They need to be engaging. So let me talk about the textbooks for class. Super fun. First book we're going to look at is Jon Krakauer's Into the Wild. And Into the Wild is a great book to use. And what we can look about, and we can talk about how literature and great works of literature have a direct impact on people. I've used this book before, and sometimes students have said they've read it before, but the way that I approach it in a literature class, students have said they really like going back and re-examining some of the ideas because the approach that I have is pretty unique and really focuses on literature. So Into the Wild is always fun. It's always it's always my secret weapon. We're going to switch gears and we're going to actually look at a graphic novel called The Harlem Hellfighters. It's a graphic novel dealing with World War I. There's a whole series of World War I poets that came out of the war itself, and this specifically deals with the untold story of the only African-American regiment that fought in World War I. And I used it last semester. Students liked it. They liked because it was an untold story that people had never thought about, and then we could connect it directly to some of the literature that comes out of World War I. The last book we're going to look is a book called City of Thieves, which is fantastic. It is probably the best book that is on our list. A little hard. Into the Wild is always fun, but City of Thieves is interesting because there's a debate on whether or not City of Thieves is an example of literature of Holocaust or literature of World War II. And I taught it last semester, and I made a mistake because when I recorded some of the lectures, Canvas had an error. And so one class only didn't get the section on literature of the Holocaust. And so they really felt like it was an example really of only an example of World War I literature. But the other class, which got both lectures, it was interesting. They're a completely different view, and they really were able to kind of piece it to how it represents kind of elements of the Holocaust. City of Thieves is a really great book. This is the first book, Backpackers Literature. It's the book we'll start using probably in week 2 or week 3 when we start getting into looking at some of the short stories. I know there's a different edition, and then, of course, the last book we are going to look at Shakespeare, Henry V. And Henry V is epic because it's a play about war, it's a play about politics, it's a play about rhetoric. I've had pretty good success teaching it online. I've got a pretty good lesson plan. Students end up writing really good papers. And what I'm trying to do is kind of fine-tune it because I'm trying to figure out how to make Shakespeare even more accessible online. I mean, students I understand that Shakespeare can be hard, especially online, but students seem to pull through pretty well. So I'm kind of just tinkering around with that. But those are basically the books for class. We'll never meet in person. We'll always meet online. I do have what are called student hours. If you want to come by during any student hour, they're set up on Zoom, and we can come and schedule a time to meet. But otherwise, I'm looking forward to your introductory email, and I'm looking forward to class. It's going to be a lot of fun.